following is a production of peanutbutterdisaster.com and may contain views and language not suitable for all listeners. Audience discretion is advised.
Hello, everybody, and welcome to Smark My Words, Peanut Butter Disaster's premier wrestling podcast. I'm KiraKennedy, alongside my broadcast colleague, Mean Mago Keen, though there's no Tex Rockwolf this week. Unfortunately, Kevin Owens found some of his smutty fan fictions, and he blocked him on Twitter, so Tex is out with a broken heart and strange super kick-related injuries.
And, of course, I am joined by my lovely manager,
Hello.
Casey Cowden.
It is I, the manager, Casey Cowden.
Alright, and this week we're actually doing a bit of a throwback because now that all of us on the podcast have access to the WWE Network, though mine being Canadian is disappointingly limited, we're going to be reviewing an old school pay-per-view. This time around, we're looking at Extreme Rules 2012.
Yeah, I'm really, I love this. I think this is a great little thing we have, going on. We have Extreme Rules coming up, 2016, so we went back 4 years and took a look at 2012's Extreme Rules. Just a nice classic Extreme Rules, also the furthest back that Canada's network will go, because, oh Canada,
yes,
oh shit thy be. But this is a great little look into the past. I'm really excited about this. I hope we do this in the future a good bit, going back and just checking out the precursors to our latest discomfort.
It's surprising how different things were just 4 years ago, but how many things stayed the same. So it was a very interesting little historical
pay-per-view.
Yep, there you go. Words.
Now, before we actually get started this, are we going to be covering the pre-show on this, The Miz versus Santino Marella, or does really anybody even care?
Man, Santino's music sure was great. Moving on.
Yes. And it's funny how many of the superstars on this pay-per-view are no longer with the company, either due to injuries or just getting their future endeavors.
Yeah, we have a few people that are just missing, like Randy Orton's currently out. Kane
for an
is
X amount of time.
Yeah, Kane's in Hawaii, I guess. Brodus Clay is gone.
Hornswoggle's gone.
Hornswoggle's gone.
Cameron.
Vicky's
Guerrero.
gone.
So basically everyone in the second match of the actual event was gone.
Yeah,
yep.
And then Daniel Bryan. Ryback might as well be gone, which is fascinating. Debuted in Chicago, probably left in Chicago.
Yeah.
And then, of course, CM Punk is gone. And Layla's gone. And Brie Bella's gone. There's not.
And
Nikki's out with an injury.
Yeah, Nikki's out with an injury. Yeah, so it's a pretty it's a very historical card because they're all history.
Yes.
Yeah.
So let's move into the opening match. It is a Falls Count Anywhere between Kane and the Viper, Randy Orton.
Ooh, I've missed his legs. I mean, what?
Yeah, I'm not gonna lie. This was around the point where I was starting to get tired of Orton. Like, I loved him when he was, like, full-on Legend Killer heel, or, like, the batshit insane, I'm gonna kick you in the fucking skull.
Yeah, okay, so a little backstory for me. This is kind of my blind point for the WWE. I've gone back since I got back into wrestling and looked at a lot of stuff that I missed, but there's kind of this period between, I'm going to say like 2009 and 2013 where I just haven't really gone back and I didn't care at the time. So like this whole pay-per-view is actually new for me. Like I've seen bits and pieces of matches from the card in various other media, but I've never actually watched this pay-per-view. And it surprised me just a little show of my cards here, how good it was. So I don't really have an opinion on Randy Orton at this time. I've always liked Randy Orton. I love the Viper. I love his stupid modeling thing that he does on top of the turnbuckle. But I felt like this is a great way to start a pay-per-view. First you get Kane's mask within a mask stupidity, which is just a nice kind of campy thing to see. And then you have this not really technically crazy match, but very fun. It's very, getting into the audience, going backstage.
Yeah, it was very much like the Kevin Owens Dean Ambrose match from the Rumble, where there was just good intensity. Probably would have been a little better if they were allowed to bleed a little, but
yeah,
still a good match.
Yeah, though I'm happy anytime I get to hear Kane's Jet Moto music. It really brings me back to my childhood of terrible music. But overall, I thought I agree with you guys. I think it could have been better if they'd actually, wrestled more versus just hit each other's heads against the barriers a lot, which is what it felt like 98% of the match was. But, meh. It set the tone very well for the night.
Also, little side note here. From what I remember, the beginning of this feud in general between Orton and Kane was very stupid. I can't remember the exact reason, but I think it had something to do with Orton's legacy. But the one funny moment I found in this match was when Zack Ryder tried to do something.
Bless his heart.
Yeah, this is right after that time when Kane put him in a wheelchair and it was
pushed him off the stage.
Yeah, the ultimate humiliation of Zack Ryder. At least he's standing in this little appearance. That's nice.
Yes, you can't say WWE didn't give him a push.
Yeah, and it was nice seeing a little bit of Paul Bearer and Cowboy Bob Orton as well in those in the video package. I haven't seen Bob Orton in a while, which makes sense. He's older. I haven't seen Paul Bearer in a while either, though. But
yeah, that was actually his last appearance on TV.
Was it?
Oh, yeah. That's sad.
Poor thing.
Well, no, he showed back up when CM Punk brought him out.
True. You got to have one last reunion with The Undertaker.
Wow.
That's fucked.
Dark humor, it's what we do. But definitely a good, solid match. And from there, we move on to a match where, again, most of the people involved in this match are either gone, or going to be gone, or Ziggler.
Right. I have a lot of opinions about this. This is when you regret letting a female speak, because boy am I glad that the Divas Revolution happened, as much as I hate that term, because to see Naomi, fuck Cameron, but to see Naomi out there, dancing around and being nothing, and then being all oh, Hornswoggle's just happy to be there because of girls and boobs and tits, and I'm like, no, we ain't gonna play that game. That's not cute. So I was just mad going into it, and mad coming out of it, mostly.
Yeah, no, Naomi definitely deserved much better, and she got much better once they finally turned her heel.
Yeah. And put some clothes on her.
Yeah.
I'm just not into black chicks.
Michael.
But no,
and of course, let's not forget Miss Melina versus Alicia Fox is my favorite match ever. Why was she even there?
Girl, bye.
That's what the WWE said.
Funkasaurus, Brodus Clay, saddled with one of the more embarrassing gimmicks in the history of the WWE.
It was rough. It was pretty rough. Yeah. The match itself wasn't necessarily bad. It had some entertaining moments where Dolph was being a monkey, and Vicky was screeching. So I didn't hate the match. I just hated the women. It was,
there's a certain missed opportunity here, because this is still the early days of Brodus Clay's time with the company, or at least, on the main roster. And it's just a 4-minute match. Not really a whole lot happens. It's really just sort of a throwaway storyline match. Seeing Dolph Ziggler kind of just being himself is always great. I love his jacket. And the man has always known how to bump, and Brodus Clay has always known how to jiggle. But yeah, it's not terribly memorable, if only because it just kind of ends. It's not really, there's not much going on here.
Yeah. So definitely one of the weaker matches on the card. Right up until we actually get to the next match, which is The Big Show versus Cody Rhodes in a table match for the IC title.
This is how you do a short fucking match.
It was beautiful.
Yeah, it's one of those things, like, I'm glad Big Show got humiliated in the long run, because it's like, but I remember at the time thinking, why did they even put the title on Big Show if they were just going to do this? Because the whole feud was based around Cody Rhodes humiliating Big Show in the first place.
Yeah, I think that's one great thing about going back and watching these pay-per-views is you get a different perspective. Like right now, we're going into various pay-per-views fresh and saying, well, this doesn't make any sense in the storyline, or, where the fuck are they going with this? But going back and not really caring too much about the storylines and really just focusing on the pay-per-view as a show, it's a beautifully comedic moment that, yeah, if you're being super subjective at the time, I can see how it could be a bit of a kick in the balls, but like seeing Big Show's face when
it was so good.
It's so good.
Yeah, I like imagined the wah, 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 when he the little sad trombone when he realized he fell through the table.
Yeah, I never knew where that I'd seen that as a GIF a lot, and I had always wondered where it was from, and now I know, which I'm very happy about. And this is one of two really great GIF moments. The other one will come with the Cena-Lesnar match. But aside from that finish, which was beautiful, and then seeing Cody Rhodes get destroyed by Big Show in an angry fit was great. Cody fucking rocked the shit out of this. Like, talk about an underused talent.
Seriously.
Yeah. He's always, like, I think definitely he does have his dad's personality, his dad's ability to tell a story within a match. And definitely one of the more underrated talents. And the second they drop Stardust and give him something new, depending on what it is, might benefit him or might just be the WWE's habit of killing anything that involves a Rhodes.
Right.
Yeah.
I think that if they had given the Stardust gimmick to anyone else, it would have been a complete flop. But Cody nails it, and he nails anything they give him, because that's what, a truly talented wrestler can do, is they can act through everything, and if their, skill set is strong enough, then it's gonna shine through, and he's just a freaking rock star.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Although it's better than that Tony Stark gimmick he was apparently going to get. There was footage leaked of him and his wife, girlfriend at the time, Eden, working on a gimmick called Rhodes Industries.
Oh.
Where his gimmick was, how come I don't get as many t-shirts as John Cena?
Wow. Imagine if Cesaro had gotten the Stardust gimmick. I just thought about that. That'd be great.
Oh, that would be
fantastic. Would be weird.
The Swiss Saucer Man.
I would hate it because I wouldn't be able to see his legs. I mean, he's a good wrestler, but it's mostly about his legs. I don't just watch it for the sports, guys. I also watch it because it's mostly naked men that are in very good shape.
Hear that, ladies? Get on the wrestling train.
Seriously.
I don't know why you listen to this podcast if you're not already on the wrestling train, but get on that wrestling train.
Mm-hmm.
Women?
Maybe they're bored.
They're so bored.
All right. Well, from that we move on to a 2 out of 3 falls match for the World Heavyweight Championship. Daniel Bryan versus Sheamus, which basically this whole feud is based on the fact that Sheamus kicked Bryan's head in 18 seconds.
I did not realize that Daniel Bryan used to be such a little cunt basket. My God.
He was an amazing heel. Like, I love his heel work. Even I never realized how much I missed his heel work until I watched this match. Because the funny thing is, he started the Yes Chance to be obnoxious as fuck.
Yeah, and then it became one of the most inspirational stories in WWE history, which is crazy to think about. And it really speaks volumes about how wrestling evolves over time. And really, goes back to that hindsight thing of, you look at how it worked before, and it's really kind of amazing how the soap opera called wrestling plays out.
Yeah, it's funny because like the pay-per-view after this, they were actually considering giving Daniel Bryan the WWE Championship because they either wanted him or CM Punk to feud with The Rock at the Royal Rumble the year after that. So it was either CM Punk stays face and they give the title to Bryan, or Punk keeps the title and he turns heel. He actually mentioned this on the Colt Cabana podcast, the infamous Colt Cabana podcast.
Yeah. I would have liked to have seen that. It's too bad that never happened. Anyway, so Sheamus and Daniel Bryan. I love this match. This is just a fun fucking match, and it's really crazy to see Sheamus really over.
Yeah, that's creepy.
And Daniel Bryan just, as you said, amazing heel.
Is it weird that I really want to see Sheamus bleed? I think it would look amazing against his skin tone. Is that weird?
No, I'd never really thought about that. It's like, yeah, that would be a truly Canadian sight to see.
Like, I want to see him in a, like, super hardcore match where he's just dripping, and I just think that the contrast would be incredible. I should write to WWE about that.
You might want to write to CZW about that, because WWE ain't doing anything that bloody in a long time.
But it's a new era.
Yes, a new era.
New era, my ass.
Yeah,
Alright, well, with this one, it was kind of your basic 2 out of 3 falls match, essentially. Yeah, well,
I like the...
2 falls, because Sheamus won the first by DQ.
Yeah, which I thought was a great little moment.
It was smart.
Yeah.
It was strategic.
Yeah, Daniel Bryan really working the heel chops. And I don't know, there's something really great about that kind of midpoint of the match. Daniel Bryan, we all know he's a great storyteller in the ring. That's not news to anybody. And to see this little fucking gremlin just working the crowd, making the ring his own, of course with a lot of help from Sheamus, who is also really top of his game at this point.
Yeah.
Sheamus is always great. People give him so much shit. I like Sheamus a lot.
I have always been lukewarm to Sheamus. I always found him a little, forgive the term, bland, or white bread. But definitely him and Daniel Bryan could never have a bad match. Like even their 18-second match, or the very last encounter they had together, where Sheamus wound up giving him the concussion that would end his career.
Yeah. Well, maybe. Okay, well, maybe hindsight isn't always the best thing. I love that we get to see AJ Lee before she really became an actual proper wrestler in this storyline. It's interesting again to see evolution. You have this girl who's it seems like she is being underutilized at this point. She's being, she's just meat for a storyline.
Because that's all women are.
And then, over time, she became arguably the best female wrestler in the company.
One of the best talkers in the company, too.
Oh, yeah.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, one of the coolest. I mean, she was just one of the best wrestlers for a while.
She was great.
So, I mean, it's unfortunate that you think about it and you're like, oh, well, that was only just a couple years of actual wrestling. But, on the flip side of that, it's really amazing how far she went in such a small time span.
Yeah, like a year later, she had one of the best feuds of the year with Caitlyn. Like, yeah. I don't think anything in the company could have topped that feud.
It's just everything about this match. Looking back on it, and I would say it's hard. There's I guess 3 really fantastic matches on this card that really knocked it out of the park, and this is the first one. I mean, this is the one that really we got to this point about halfway through the pay-per-view, the first like really long serious match, and it's just great stuff. Yeah, it is kind of your typical 2 out of 3 falls match, but as far as that goes, it was a Bryan Sheamus match, and you just can't beat that. I mean, you can't beat that.
Yeah.
But it's hard to outdo it.
Yeah, and then after that we had Ryback versus a bunch of jobbers in a handicap match. It was a squash match. The only real thing of note here was that this was kind of the birth of Feed Me More. And
this is his first pay-per-view, right?
Yeah.
What was the point?
Right?
There was no point.
My guess was I think this was when they were trying to force that Goldberg idea on him.
Oh yeah, I mean, I get it. He's going around, he's squashing jobbers left and right, but to actually bring out legit local jobbers, I guess it might be because Chicago is such a big wrestling town. They thought, well, we bring in some locals, then they'll like it. And maybe, maybe there was a good chunk of people in the crowd that loved it. I don't know.
Well,
it didn't sound like it.
Right by the ring was actually the guy who trained CM Punk, Ace Steel. So those might have been some of his students.
Oh.
That makes sense. It was mostly just cringy. Them on the mic and just the whole thing.
Well, that was kind of the thing with Ryback's squashes at the time. They would give the jobbers promo time to say, yeah, we're the greatest ever, and we're grateful to the WWE for giving us this opportunity, but we're going to kick this guy's ass. And then they would get decimated.
Mm.
Yeah. Not a great pay-per-view debut for a character. Not a particularly good match. But really, I mean, and it's hard to even call it a match. It's just sacrificing 2 lambs.
It was filler.
Yeah. It was... I'd like to say it was the piss break match, but there were 2 on this card, I think.
Yeah.
Oh, I think I know what y'all are talking about. It wasn't that bad. So I guess we can just move on to the... Probably...
The match of the night.
Yeah, match of the night.
Of course, CM Punk versus Chris Jericho in a Chicago street fight for the WWE title. And my God, like, we talk about how AJ Styles, how his feud with AJ Styles had some of Jericho's best work, the AJ Styles. But my God, just him getting under Punk's skin. Like, I remember in the WrestleMania build-up to WrestleMania, Punk actually dropped bullshit on the air twice. During this feud, because Jericho insulted his sister.
Heel Jericho, just bringing the heat to the table. This actually it kind of reminded me of his feuds with Ambrose and Styles. I feel like he's really Jericho at this point in time and in present day is really like just around to push these really. Not literally hardcore wrestlers necessarily, but kind of hardcore feeling at least wrestlers. These kind of indie darlings, I guess.
Well, it seemed more so at this point, because this was the point where Jericho was losing every big feud he was involved with, And it completely befuddles me that he puts over these people like at B-level pay-per-views, but he wouldn't put over AJ Styles at Mania. So this one's kind of weird in hindsight.
Well, I wonder how much of that is his doing and how much is creatives / McMahon's. So, I mean, where do you even start with this match? It's, first of all, it's 25 minutes of just pure bliss. A lot of Chris Jericho pouring liquor onto CM Punk, which was kind of his thing right now, because, of course, CM Punk, straight edge superstar. His one weakness is whiskey.
Am I the only one that thinks that's stupid? Is that just
just me? Well, it was partially baited in reality because his actual biological father was an alcoholic. His mother barely ever paid attention to him. Like I have his DVD and the family that was sitting at ringside was actually his adoptive family. So that sister, as far as I know, was not on drugs, was not, there wasn't any problems with that family of his. But
so none of them were extras in New Jack City.
No.
Okay.
I get it, and I can appreciate adding in the, personal aspect. I don't know, a lot of it, what Jericho was doing with, the pouring the beer on him and everything, seemed like it was cheap heat, and a little insulting to people's intelligence and integrity, I guess. But that's probably just me. Overall, it was an amazing match. I have weird opinions about things. So.
Yeah, sometimes the cheap heat, I can see your point about that being really, really cheap heat, but you can't argue that it wasn't effective.
No, it definitely was.
Because, you're thinking, Jericho's trying to force this guy to drink, and it's like you're forcing him to go against his beliefs completely, and, just perfect heel work there, I think.
And it makes a lot of sense to go after that. I mean, you don't really have a lot of wrestlers. I mean, even the Holy One, John Cena, I'm sure loves putting back a few brewskis. So to have an actual straight edge guy as a popular wrestler, I mean, you're going to exploit that. And having the, like, queen heel, Chris Jericho,
and his $15,000 jacket.
And his $50,000 jacket. Going after this guy's weakness in such a theatrical manner is, it's smart. Chris Jericho just, he manufactures heat. He's in the factory 9 to 5, just manufacturing heat. And
he's one of those guys who really tries to keep kayfabe alive. Because I remember hearing in interviews, like, if he was working as a heel at the time, he'd go out of his way to ignore people who would ask him for autographs, just to keep in character.
Yeah, he's a beautiful human being.
I don't know. I want to see a vegan version where there's a vegan superstar
Daniel
and Bryan. Well, no, but no one's ever shoved prime rib in his face.
Well, there was the Dr. Shelby
and I'm just
thing
saying,
when they had him eat a meatball and Kane was eating a salad. There was that, but nothing like for true heel heat, I guess. Yeah.
Well, I think it'd be great. Again, WWE. It's a good idea.
Yeah, definitely.
I think Ziggles should become a vegan.
Yes.
That should be his, like, weird heel turn.
And then like Cheeseburger makes him flop around like he's selling death.
Supercell.
So great match. Definitely.
What is a Chicago street fight?
I don't know.
I didn't understand how this. I mean, it's a street fight, and they are in Chicago. But other than that, I'm not really seeing how, like, what makes it a Chicago street fight.
Like, I remember one of the last matches Edge wrestled was in Toronto against Dolph Ziggler. It was a Toronto street fight, and the only thing that made it Toronto related was that hockey sticks were involved.
Well, that is all that Canadians love. And maple syrup.
Right.
And
apologizing.
Fake bacon.
Yeah, sorry about that.
Maybe they had deep dish pizzas under the ring and they just didn't get a chance to use them, and that would have made it a Chicago street fight.
Maybe.
Or they could have shot people in the audience.
Missed opportunity.
Yeah, definitely a missed opportunity there. Like anything Chicago related in the Chicago street fight.
Oh, great. Female wrestler name. Miss T Opportunity.
Wow, that was so good.
Misty Opportunity, that's great. Come on.
Wow, you should write for WWE Creative with ideas like that, Mike.
It's gold. Gold, I say.
Oh.
Get her in there.
That may be gold, but the next match was not. This was your prototypical Divas match at the time. Nikki Bella versus a returning Layla, who at the time had been coming back from a year of rehab after a terrible, terrible knee injury. And Layla won this match in less than 3 minutes.
Yep.
With a roll-up.
Yep. What were the Bellas wearing? Can we just take a moment and discuss why they were dominatrixes?
Well, they were modeling Stephanie McMahon's future wardrobe for on television.
Oh, so it was the trial run for Steph.
Yeah.
Like, so she could see how it looked on TV.
For when she takes over from John Laurinaitis.
Yes,
okay,
Mr. Personality. I still call him clown shoes for some reason.
Bless it. And one thing I noticed about the Bellas when they were talking is they were playing a lot more ditzy than they were, before Nikki got hurt and Brie retired. And I'm really glad they dropped that because they deserve so much better.
The funny thing about this, sorry.
No, go ahead.
Go ahead. The funny thing about this was actually their last pay-per-view match for a while because the night after they lost a triple threat match to Layla again. And then Eve had fired them, and they didn't return again until right before WrestleMania 29.
Interesting.
Yeah.
Were they less stupid?
And that was when Nikki got her boob job.
Oh.
That's where it happened.
They were
That's why they
slightly
look so
less
similar.
stupid. They didn't start getting
boobies.
less
I forgot
stupid
about
and
that.
less... Yeah. They really didn't start getting their own defined personalities until Total Divas started. If you can call those personalities.
Yeah, it kills me because they're good wrestlers.
Yeah.
And, they can be decent on the mic depending on what they're given. And I just, with a lot of the women that have gone through WWE in the past, X amount of years, they just got a shit run and it's not fair to them. And I really hope that when Nikki comes back, she can come back, powerful and kick some ass. Because she was mostly just bitchy and booby.
Bitchy and booby, the Nikki Bella story.
Rated PG-13.
Well, just looking at the finish of this match, I find it ironic that they went to a similar finish when Charlotte was feuding with Nikki for the Divas title. Actually, there's two things I find funny about this. One was the finish that Layla had actually pinned Brie, but she was still given the title when they pulled that twice more. Yeah. I mean, granted, it was harder to tell the difference between Nikki and Brie at that point. But another thing I find funny is right before that, when Nikki was cutting her promo, she was talking about being the longest reigning Divas champion. And lo and behold, 3 years later, she officially has the record.
Yeah, it's good foreshadowing.
Yeah.
And I think this was when she was still dating Ziggles, so you can't even say it was her push with Cena. And speaking of Nikki's man, this brings us to the main event, which, my god, this was a thing of beauty. John Cena versus Brock Lesnar in an Extreme Rules match, and oh my god, there was blood.
Yeah, quickly. There was very quickly blood.
Yeah.
There was almost as much blood in this match as there was cum in my pants while watching it. This is just beautiful.
And no sooner did Cena start bleeding, did the refs stop the match so they could stitch him up, only to get busted open a second time.
Yeah, it was rough for little baby Cena.
Yeah, I love sort of the almost meta fuck you to that at the time the rule to stop the match so they could patch him up and deal with the bleeding. I'm glad that they've kind of they haven't abandoned that necessarily, but they've.
It depends on the severity.
Yeah, it depends on the severity, but they've definitely moved away from that rule these days. And back then, I mean, it's kind of a blue ball thing, but I mean, they fucking keep the energy going. It doesn't take long for the shit to keep on going down. And part of that's Brock just full of bloodlust.
Well, the best part was, hands down, at one point Brock was standing in the ring looking for Cena, who he had killed, looking for a ref, which he had killed 2 of. And it was just like, he was surrounded by all these corpses. He had Cena's blood rubbed on his chest, and he was just like, I am man. Hear me roar.
Didn't he lick
with
Cena's
Lesnar?
blood at one point?
Yes.
With Lesnar, it's more hear me scream, but.
Well, we can't all have had our balls drop, but that's okay.
Yes. Well, let's face it. Either way, if Lesnar was roaring or screaming at you, you would shit your pants.
Yeah.
Oh, it would just be a heavy load to bear. Yeah.
Yeah, and I was watching this match, I'm thinking, this is what the fucking street fight at Mania should have been. Like, right down to the finish.
Yes.
This is what it should have been.
Did we
ever
figure out what happened with that? Like, why it just...
Oh, the street fight at Mania.
Yeah.
Why it just ended.
Probably a timing thing.
Yeah, maybe.
I was so mad.
Yeah, that was one of the biggest letdowns I think I've ever had in wrestling. So it amazes. Like I knew going in that Brock would lose just because I know Cena's record. Because I think you can count on 2 hands how many times John Cena's lost a match clean.
Yeah.
So
and both times was to The Rock. Well, no, once was to The Rock, once was to Shawn Michaels.
But going into this, Brock Lesnar's just come back for the first time since 2004.
Yeah.
And, he shows up, I believe, on Raw and
the night after Mania.
The night after Mania, fucks up John Cena, which, beautiful. And in today's climate, I expected, okay, well, John Cena's going to win, and everybody's just going to be pissed the fuck off. But no. This match is such a thing of fucking beauty that even though it's Brock Lesnar's first pay-per-view in 8 fucking years, and he loses, the crowd still goes nuts at the finish, still pops hard for Cena, because it's just that fucking awesome of a match. And that speaks volumes to not have people doing the Roman Reigns on John Cena. At the end of this, but he proves his mettle, bleeds a bit, probably not intentional. And
it was intense.
Yeah.
It was good.
Like, when people, when we say that even just a little bit of blood in a match just makes it that much better, this is what we're talking about.
Yeah, it doesn't have to be gushing. They don't have to be sticking razor blades up each other's asses. It just
they don't have
to be realistic.
We're not talking like Muda levels here.
Yeah. It's, you don't have to be the fucking necro butcher to get a pop.
Yeah.
It's a magical thing, and like all the way, like even like the brutality of some of the spots, like one
of my favorite spots was Lesnar just picking Lil Nate up by the belt and just like heaving him into the ring.
That was the best.
That's the other GIF moment. Yeah, I need that.
It was.
Somebody
it was
make
so
that
good.
and send it to us on Twitter at PBDSmark.
So good.
Yeah, and the AA onto the stairs, which I hear weigh like 700 pounds or something.
I heard 2 tons.
2 tons? 2
It's
tons.
2 tons.
Yeah, 2-ton stairs. But the AA from John Cena to Lesnar onto the stairs to finish off everything is just a great way to go out and a perfect way to put over your number one talent in what should be Brock Lesnar's big return match. I mean, it should be the one where he just fucking destroys, and this, potentially goes on for several months. Nope.
Yeah.
The beast is fallen.
I remember this being a huge surprise when it happened, because like everyone and their mother was like, "Oh, Lesnar's a certified badass. He came from UFC." They basically thought it was going to be like SummerSlam 2 years later.
Yeah, he was bringing legitimacy back to the brand, is what they were touting. Or I'm sorry, bringing legitimacy back to the brand.
Yes. Although it's weird looking at Lesnar try to cut a promo without Heyman. Like,
It is.
he is, but Lesnar is amazing. He was basically taking like a UFC style hype promo, and it worked for him.
Yeah,
He's not bad on the mic by any means. It's just that his voice does not match his body, and that makes him very hard to take seriously.
he has the body of the rock monster from Neverending Story, but he has the voice of a pack of baby wipes.
That is an image.
But yeah, it works. I mean, he's still great. I mean, it would have been better with Paul Heyman because
It's
Brock Lesnar.
Yeah, it's weird hearing a Brock Lesnar promo that doesn't involve my client, Brock Lesnar.
Man. Paul Heyman for president.
Paul Heyman for emperor.
Yes.
But yeah, so
Although it's funny because 2 weeks later, that was when Heyman would make his big return as the advocate for Brock Lesnar.
Oh man, I guess. And this was how long ago when did he represent Punk?
It was during his heel run, so about a couple months after this, actually.
Okay.
So it was from SummerSlam or Night of Champions that year, all the way to to Money in the Bank a year later.
Okay. Yeah, so I guess that's the only thing that really would have made this match any better would be Paul Heyman. This is absolute 5-star match. I have zero problems. I mean, there's so many character moments, like when I don't remember what the move was, but Brock's on the top of the stairs in the middle of the ring, and Cena, I guess, is on the other side of the ropes.
Yep.
And he jumps, does some move on John Cena. John Cena goes flying back. And then Brock, I guess, botches it a little bit.
Yeah.
And falls over onto his ass. And you think, and I can imagine people watching at home at the time like, oh, fuck, he just got back. He just broke his fucking leg. But no, he fucking just shrugs it off.
I'm okay.
Yeah, and it's just like, I'm the best. I'm the best. And it's
like a
great.
white Mike Tyson, I just realized.
Yeah.
He is like even as a fuck, like he has shitty tattoos. He just needs one on his fucking face.
So many terrible tattoos, but that's what makes him... He's just an enigma. I love me some Brock Lesnar, and I hate to admit it.
He looks like the least satisfied canvas from Ink Master.
Yes.
Yeah.
Like he keeps going back to try again.
Although every time he's not satisfied, he powerbombs someone through a table.
Oh, God.
Many tattoo artists died that day. But yeah, I mean, if you haven't watched this fucking match, go on the WWE Network, $9.99. Even if you're Canadian, you can watch it, which is crazy.
Yeah.
Even if you're in a third world like Canada, you're okay. And check out this match. If you don't want to sit through the entire pay-per-view, that's fine. But it's a world-class pay-per-view. I mean,
it's really good.
I wasn't expecting much. When we were talking about doing Extreme Rules, or a previous Extreme Rules, I wanted to do something a little bit earlier. But Kira, of course, is Canadian, which fucked everything up.
Damn you, Rogers.
But then, I mean, we picked 2012 because it was the earliest one, and lo and behold, it's one of my new favorites. I mean, this is just for this era, perfect pay-per-view.
Yeah. Kind of ironic when this was part of an era where just we were getting a lot of decent pay-per-views at this point, we had the amazing WWE title match a month later, Daniel Bryan versus CM Punk at Over the Limit, where, again, had Punk decided he didn't want to turn heel, Daniel Bryan would have been WWE champion a lot sooner.
Which I'm actually glad they didn't do, just because we wouldn't have gotten that amazing WrestleMania 30 story.
Yeah.
And I think another thing that made this pay-per-view so successful is there weren't a lot of talky bits.
Yeah.
It was actual,
Wrestling?
Wrestling?
Yeah, it's weird.
Wrestling on a wrestling show? Next thing you'll be telling me Ric Flair was Charlotte's father.
Wait, whoa, hold the phone. Are you telling me? Are you fucking telling me that Ric Flair, the Nature Boy, has a legitimate daughter, and she is Charlotte?
I'm just as shocked as you are, Mike.
You fucking Canadian bastard. You Canuck cunt. I swear to God, if you fucking bullshit me about this, I will take your fucking neck and snap it in fucking two and dip maple syrup down your fucking throat, you bastard.
Don't you be poor?
Fuck you. I'll dip a little container of that Burger King syrup into your throat cavity, and then I'll punch you multiple times in the throat, and so it'll smash open, and maple syrup will kind of pour down your gullet, you piece of shit motherfucker, lying to me about Ric Flair being Charlotte's goddamn father, you piece of shit.
As your manager, I am going to have to advise you to stop this line of conversation before you get yourself arrested for being fucking crazy.
Yeah, you don't want to end up like Adam Rose.
Oh.
Damn.
That was ice cold.
Damn.
Like the igloo you live in. You stupid fucking Canadian.
You Canadian cocksucker, I'll curb stomp your fucking head so hard you'll look like a fucking Tox-Scavenger movie.
Yeah, and then the moose is gonna lick up your brains because it's a moose.
And they're everywhere.
The wrestler moose or the animal moose?
Both.
You bitch.
Ugh. Well.
Damn.
Oh, and by the way, just before we finish this up, John Cena calls them wrestlers at the end.
Yeah.
Because John Laurinaitis is gonna fire John Cena. And he gives this little speech, and he mentions all the wrestlers who worked tonight, and that was weird to hear, because you're not going to hear that ever again on WWE, because they're superstars, not wrestlers. Fuck you, go kill yourself.
Yeah, although, looking at it from the benefit of hindsight, the only reason I could see him doing that, besides probably just trying to stir some tea backstage, if that makes sense.
Is that a British term? I
don't
You're fucking
know.
Canadians and your queen.
The only reason I could see him doing that was, he started a feud with John Laurinaitis a month later,
John Laurinaitis!
Yeah, which led to the Big Show turning heel for the 600th time, I think?
602nd.
That, okay.
Yes.
But, with all that out of the way, on our Macho Man scale of coolness, I don't know, I think I'd want to give this a solid Mick Foley.
You know what? I'll go along with that. This is a solid Mick Foley.
And we're not just saying that because it was hardcore.
My managers might be confused.
No, I definitely know the rating system. I give this a... No, it's okay. I totally got this. I'm 100% familiar. I know what's happening. I give this an edge.
Oh.
Interesting.
Fuck you. But I think this was actually just a little throwback real quick. This was the 603rd heel turn for Big Show because he actually turned face and then back to heel in his match because he was faced when he took his hat off and put it on the little kid.
Oh, yeah, that was adorable.
Which was precious.
Yeah.
But he flip-flopped right there. He's just like a big old flippy-floppy fish.
Yes.
Flippy floppy fish.
I do love him, though. And I hate myself for it.
Well, with all of that out of the way, if you would like to follow me on social media, I am on Twitter at KiraKennedyHNR, Tumblr at KiraKennedyHNR.tumblr.com, and of course you can always check out my Facebook page, facebook.com/KiraKennedyReviews. Mike?
I'm Michael Keane. I'm on Twitter, and it's at Michael Keane because I snagged the shit out of that. I'm also on Instagram at mbkeane, where I post pictures of pizza and pizza. You can also find me on peanutbutterdisaster.com, along with all the other great content creators on peanutbutterdisaster.com. Also, one last thing, I have just rebooted my show, Season Pass. Actually, as of this recording, one episode has gone out, one new episode. It's Bucky O'Hare and the Toad Wars, and it is pretty fucking awesome. Has our very own Jake Salvage co-hosting, and it's a great show. You should check that out. Just fucking throw away this piece of shit podcast and check out that one. Season Pass, the original podcast all about TV shows that lasted one season or less.
And I'm Casey Cowden. I will be joining the Season Pass crew because I'm in all yo podcasts.
Oh shit.
And all up in all yo butts. That escalated. Anyway, if you want to follow more insane ramblings that make no sense and have no ending, you can find me on the tweeters at manateebee. That's a manatee like the sea cow and a bee like a bumblebee. And the same thing on Instagram, where I post pictures of my cat and dog, and sometimes my face, and rocks and stuff. I don't know. Fuck.
And of course, if you'd like to follow the show, we are on Twitter at PBDSmark, as well as Facebook at facebook.com/PBDSmark, or you can go in a little search bar thingy and type in Smark My Words Podcast. I run the Facebook page, Mike runs the tweeters, and we talk about wrestling stuff because that's what this podcast is.
What?
So, until next time, for me, Michael Keane, and his manager, Casey, I'm Kira Kennedy, and thank you for listening.
Fuck you, Kira.
Fuck you.
Fuck both of you.
Smark My Words is hosted by Kira Kennedy, Tex Rockwolf, and Michael Keane. Our opening theme is Temper by L Tigre Ultimo, who you can find out more about at facebook.com/L_Tigre_Ultimo, as well as soundcloud.com/L Tigre Ultimo, all one word. Our ending theme is Summon the Rock by Kevin MacLeod, who you can find out more about at Incompetech.com. The following has been a production of PeanutButterDisaster.com.
Peanut butter disaster.